who are always very well connected in all things Bayern, have it on their first day edition that Jupp Heynckes is returning to Bayern for a fourth time to take charge of them until the end of the season as interim coach, caretaker manager, 72 years old, coming out of retirement for the second time to steady what has been a very unsteady ship at Bayern.
Raf, with your Bayern ways, do you like this decision?
I think it's the decision that reflects the rift that goes through the center of power at boardroom level. You've had Karl-Heinz Rummenigge, who wants Thomas Tuchel or wanted Thomas Tuchel. You have Uli Hoeneß, who wants Julian Nagelsmann. They couldn't agree, so they opted for compromise candidates, somebody who has the Bayern experience, somebody who has the the knowledge, the respect of the players, somebody that everybody likes. And you think, this is a sensible decision. At the same time, he is 72. He's been out of football since 2013. I think it does come with an element of risk. First of all, to him, because he would ruin his legacy to a certain extent if he doesn't have the same kind of success. And how can he have the same kind of success? He retired on the treble.
Casey, you're part of his legacy.
Well,
he played under him.
Yeah, he was my former manager at Mönchengladbach, and he left Gladbach and then eventually ends up a couple years later back at Bayern. And
do you think this is right decision for Bayern?
It's interesting because I think what it does is it's a stopgap. I think they can hire Jupp for the remainder of the season.
It's definitely not going to be Tuchel, is it? Because they could have got Tuchel now. So
right.
He's not going to be in contention.
Well, you would think so. But they can kind of just clean up the short term and then figure out, What
about if he's successful till the end of the season?
Well, that was interesting because...
We think he's going to go into his 80s.
Well, but...
I bet he could stay on for another if he's successful.
Bayern Munich, I think they want to be a bit more progressive than that. Well, but this is clearly... I think this is clever.
He won the treble. He didn't want to retire. And they retired him because they wanted to be more progressive and bring in Guardiola.
Yeah, but they've been going after Guardiola for a while. They courted Guardiola. But Man City had courted him as well, and then when they knew he was leaving Bayern. But I think this makes sense because it gives them a good 6 months plus to get sorted at boardroom level. As Raf said, there's a few disagreements there, but also figure out exactly where they want to go without a knee-jerk reaction. It gives them a steady pair of hands. If they're not successful this season with Jupp Heynckes there, then they're not successful. Just make sure you get the right guy in 6-7 months' time.
And all the so-called troublemakers at Bayern right now, the Ribéry's and the Robins and the Müllers, they not only know him, but they respect him big time. Smart decision.
We talk about Tim Howard as if he's definitely going to start this game. He is, isn't he, Casey?
Don't know.
That's the weird thing, isn't it, going into this match? Yeah. You've got this rotation that Bruce seems to have adopted between Guzan and...
I don't even know if they know there's a rotation. I remember after the match in New Jersey against Costa Rica, I ran into Brad afterwards and I said, are you playing down in Honduras? And he's like, I don't know yet. So, I mean, they're still, I think there's very easy. I mean, I've been in situations before with Bruce where it was, well, I'm just going to see who's training better, or I'm going to see, what the situation is. And
if only somebody talked to, if we got hold of Tim Howard, we could ask them.
From a coaching point of view, do you understand this?
No, not at all. It's not only just about the goalkeeper, it's about the rest of the back four as well. You're trying to, even at international level, you're trying to get some sort of comfort within a defence.
Well, some consistency, right?
And when you keep making changes, then it completely throws you off. So, no, I think sometimes you have to pick your guy and stick with him, even though sometimes things don't always go great. You have to do it that way.
Smacks of Bruce Arena frightened to make the decision because he's going to upset one of the goalkeepers.
But he has to make it.
Of course he does, but he's going to make it at the last minute. So in training, one of the goalkeepers. It's poor management.
Robbo,
that's what it is.
Listen, there's 2 games to go in this hex. If I'm coaching the US or any team, I don't give a stuff at this point.
That's not. But I agree with you. But that's the way Bruce Arena's doing.
And by the way, Bruce Arena was on radio this morning here in the US. Talking about, I've not been able to have a settled back line. Oh, he's making the changes.
If you don't make a goalkeeper choice, you're not going to have a settled back line, are you?
He's making the changes, you know. But and he also said, "Oh, I've not had time to work with these players." That's international management. These guys go away for weeks, if not months on end, and then you get them back for a few days. Welcome. He's done the job before. He should know this. I mean, again, we've not even played the game yet, and we're gone back to the very point I made in this over probably about 2 months ago. We're already talking about excuses. Just go out and win the bloody games. Panama at home, for God's sake.
And then Tim Howard was talking about the crowd again. You know, that's what we've got to get the crowd on side. That's an obvious thing.
Am I right in saying you'd all have Tim Howard as your #1 goalkeeper ahead of Brad Guzan?
I would.
Yeah.
I would, yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure, to be honest. I like the two of them. Right now,
If you had to make a decision today, you have to make a decision.
Look at the form
who's going to be in goal?
of the
Who would you
two
put in
of
goal? Who would you put in goal, Casey?
I haven't
Come on.
necessarily been paying that close attention. That's not my job.
That's not your job.
No, but I'm just saying, if I'm the national team manager, then obviously I'm going to games, I'm going to trainings, I'm trying to see who is in the best form, who's playing well, who is my #1. And I have not been watching Tim's form 100% and Brad's form 100% to find out which one right now. And the problem is right now, it's not necessarily that one of them is so far ahead of the other one that you're saying, definitely that's my guy.
I think Tim was years ago.
Well, and that's the decision that's being made. Well, let's play Tim because of what he did in the World Cup at this stage and whatever. So I don't think it's that easy just to say. It's not a simple decision.
Just go win the game, for God's sake.
Correct.
Don't want to
That's
listen
the
to any more of
simplest
these
decision.
excuses. Win the game against Panama, win the game against Trinidad, go to the World Cup, and then we take it from there. I can't bear any more of this. Need to get the crowd behind us. I haven't got the players long enough together. The back line keeps changing. Oh, goodness me.
Is it coincidence that they're better without Mesut Ozil on the pitch?
They're not better in terms of what they do with the ball, because Ozil's a great passer, but defensively, they've been much better over the last 4 or 5 games, because there's been greater attitude to go and win the ball back. When they lose the ball, they try and win it back as quickly as possible.
So here's
and
the
that
question.
makes it easier for the back.
Going forward, what do you do with Ozil?
I think Ozil will go from Arsenal come Christmas, and I think Arsenal are quite willing to let him go at the moment.
But with regards to next couple of matches, do you keep him on the bench because of this form?
I would at the moment. I think that Sanchez, you can't have... Sanchez is doing a good job. He's back to somewhere near his best form. He's closing the ball down, and they look to have a better shape. And Ozil can play against the weak teams. He could play against Brighton. He could play against Huddersfield. But we've seen in the big games, in the game against Liverpool, he was a passenger. He didn't close the ball down. He didn't do the things that people ask him to do. And that's what he has to do if he wants to get back in the team.
Stevie, do you agree?
I think it's a sad state of affairs when you've got one of the best players in Europe being shunted out of the team because supposedly he doesn't work hard enough.
We'll go back to your Russian Dalglish. You said that you wouldn't get on with the other players. You couldn't, but you wouldn't have been a great
So would
team
Man United
if the
get rid of
front players...
So would Man United have got rid of Cantona because he didn't really defend an awful
No, but
lot?
Man United
did.
The guy's a complete and utter difference.
Cantona wouldn't close the ball down.
Yep.
He did his...
Stevie,
when the ball was in and around him...
Ozil is a difference maker.
Stevie, not a difference
So you
maker
need
in
to get him
Arsenal.
the ball. You need
No.
to get him the ball.
Eric Cantona at Man United had great players around about him and they were successful. So they could have the odd luxury now and again. Arsenal, if Mesut Ozil's like Man City, or...
So don't go and buy Mesut Ozil players.
Yeah, but
or don't go and buy great players. Go and get yourself a ham and egger who'll run all day, keep a good position, you won't lose any goals.
Who says you can't
and
be a great player
and maybe we'll get
and
in
you
the
work
top
hard
4.
defensively?
Yeah.
Go back to Ian Rush. Great goal scorer. He wasn't tired, but he ran around and chased around and made sure he won the ball back for the team. Meant you could defend higher up the field, and the ball wasn't always in your back 4.
What's more important, the individual or the team?
You started off by saying that without Ozil, they're not as creative.
Quite as creative.
How are they going to win enough games then to get themselves in the top 4? Never mind be a contender. If you're not playing players who are going to create things
in the last
for
4
you.
games, have they not looked a better
they've got a guy
side than they
called
did against
Alexis
Liverpool?
I'll
Sanchez.
tell you what, though, going forward, they're absolutely miles from where they were at the best.
And that's what you're saying with Ozil in the side.
With Ozil in the side. 2 seasons ago, Ozil had he was the top assist guy in the country, in the Premier League.
Arsenal
Arsenal
still
can
didn't-
afford to just shove him aside.
Oh, give that assist a nonsense. You're one of the first
do you
ones
mean
to say that's a nonsense. You could pass it 5 yards, it's an assist. Goodness me, man.
Raf is here to talk Bayern Munich, but Raf, I just want to get your take on Mesut Ozil and the way in which he's a bit of a scapegoat to some with what happens to Arsenal. Do you agree with the criticism?
Well, I think with Mesut Ozil, you always have that element of frustration because he can, on his day, be so good that when he isn't quite up to his own standards. You feel disappointed, you feel cheated, you feel that he doesn't give you a lot when he doesn't get the ball. And I think he's been as much as a victim as a culprit when it comes to Arsenal's inability to defend well collectively. But what has happened over the last few games is that the team has really decided to work a lot harder by themselves, fighting for winning the ball back, playing a little bit deeper, and they look more together and more compact. But let's not forget, they did all that with Mesut Ozil in the FA Cup final against Chelsea. So I don't think you can necessarily blame him for now Arsenal playing well. I think they've just gone back to a formula that works.
Would there still be a demand for him? You described him as one of the best players in Europe.
Yeah. Are you telling me that if Ozil was available, there wouldn't be a queue of teams looking to sign him?
You ask me. You tell me.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you something now.
Well, there wasn't too many in the summer.
Is there anybody here?
Not at that price.
Is there anybody here thinks he's not going to play for Germany?
Different scenario.
So it suits you now.
What?
It suits you to have a different scenario.
Yes, it does suit me to have a different scenario. It's horses for courses. He's playing for Germany with the great players. Are you saying Arsenal have got as good a players as Germany?
So Arsenal don't bother.
Because there's a complete difference.
Don't bother going signing quality players then.
No,
unless, of course,
wrong
you
place,
can
wrong time.
defend in the halfway line.
Raphael made a good point there. When he plays for
Who's
Germany,
Raphael, by the way?
yeah, something like that.
Rafa.
When he plays for Germany, he knows what his role is defensively. He knows exactly what he's got to do when the opposition have got the ball. When he's playing for us, he hasn't got any instructions. That's the problem with Arsenal, and it's down again to
Wenger, there we go.
When he's playing for us.
I said Arsenal.
I told you Wenger.
He never said us.
Hey, international football, as you know, is a different scenario to club football. It's a lot slower. It's more of a game of chess. The Premier League's hustle bustle, too quick at times. I just think he's the wrong place, wrong club, wrong manager for this guy. I really do.
Look, it simply comes down to his attitude. When he wants to give the effort that everybody agrees is what you need to have as a professional footballer, his quality shines, and he's a world-class player.
Would you take him at Liverpool, Stephen?
There you go. And the answer is there.
By the way.
Sorry.
Oh, not the right club for him at this time.
What? Correct. There you go.
Would Klopp have him?
But he's a world-class
Would
player.
Klopp want him? No.
You're arguing against your own argument.
Klopp wouldn't want him.
And by the way,
That's a lot of nonsense.
By the way, all Arsenal's
Nonsense.
perils are certainly not down to one guy, Mesut Ozil. That's for sure.
It's hard to back against Argentina any time you step on the field, regardless of the opposition. But the truth is, they're in a bad spot because they haven't been playing well. You know, Peru has won away at Paraguay, they've won away at Ecuador. It wouldn't be such a huge shock if Peru won this game. I don't think they will, but we shouldn't be shocked.
Can you imagine how much pressure's on Messi's shoulders? Because he just carries it, doesn't he?
But he doesn't need to carry. There's so much talent in this squad. You just wonder why are they even in this situation in the first place.
Well, there is, but for him, can you imagine in his head, and you know how fanatical the fans are down there, I mean, there'll be a huge crowd. It just keeps harping back to Maradona. You know, Maradona did this and he did that and he carried us. We got to he won World Cups for us, and it's just got to grate with the guy, and he can't do it all the time. But it just seems, for whatever reason, that sparkle he's got at Barcelona, we don't see it quite as often when he's playing for Argentina, and it's kind of, I think it rankles with the Argentinian fans.
He's got a couple of other good players, you know, Cardi and Dybala. You know, you look at all the other, you know, they're the forward players. They've got good defenders. They've got good midfield. They should really have a good performance and beat Peru. But Peru, I think, are something up like 12th or 15th in the world rankings at the moment. So they're not a bad side.
You've been on rankings.
Yeah, you've been on a computer today.
On the computer as well.
Well, but then you even just look at it. You know, Chile's been a very good side over the last several years. They're 1 point behind them. You slip up against Peru, Chile come in. You might not. You can find yourself not even in a playoff spot. So but again,
because if you get in a playoff spot, I think it's New Zealand. So you're going to. But if you finish sixth, you're obviously out.
Correct.
And that's the problem with Chile coming up behind them.
Correct.
It's any surprise, Ali's team's never got there.
Venezuela. It's a
Well, you
tough
look
old
at
school,
when you look
isn't
at
it?
that, you might. Well, I'm not going to bother. I know. Why play?
Well, but then what did you say earlier? Venezuela draws in Argentina.
Yeah, but they're still bottom of the group.
I know they're bottom of the group, but that just shows you that how difficult this campaign has been for Argentina.
It is definitely difficult for anyone in CONMEBOL to make it through. But having said everything that we've said,
Yep.
Argentina are going to be in Russia, yes?
Yes, they are.
I can understand why everybody's so confident, because you just look at the team on paper and you go, well, there's no way they're not going to be
So
there.
is it yes or no?
But it's not about what's on paper.
Right, well,
It's about what happens on the field.
Well, yes
and on
or
the
no?
field,
Automatic or through the playoffs?
playoffs.
I think they're due to beat a team at home, get things right. They could be. I see them beating Peru 2-3-0, get things on track, settle this, and find their way through.
Welcome to Extra Time. We're talking on the show about Craig's basketball days.
Short-lived.
Did you play basketball, Case?
Yes.
Did you?
Yeah.
Was there ever a basketball goalkeeper? Was there a decision?
No, my basketball coach in high school got angry because I left to go to the former Soviet Union for a trip with the youth national team. And
Not for a holiday.
no, but that ended my basketball career.
Stevie, were you ever close to playing something else that wasn't football?
Rugby.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, really?
What position were you?
Prop ball.
I started. I actually started at fullback.
Right.
In the sevens, I would be the scrum half.
Oh.
And then I moved to inside centre. How's that?
Oh, should we complete
Versatile.
the foursome, Robbo?
I played a lot of cricket when I was younger.
Did you have to make a decision? Am I going to be a cricketer?
No,
footballer?
about 12 or 13 I made the decision to play football rather than cricket. I was playing for Essex at the time.
Do you think you would have made it as a cricketer?
I can't say that. No.
Were you swashbuckling, or were you
All-rounder.
you're there all day going like, ah?
Trevor Bailey, who was then said that I was the most devastating cricketer as a 13-year-old he'd seen.
All right.
Bad or what?
Have you got that trumpet?
Yeah, I'm going to. Yeah, don't get any praise from you ever, so I might as well say.
Well, yeah, trombone. Could or should Klopp get the sack if Liverpool finish outside the top four at the end of the season?
No.
No.
But I would suggest if the following season, if it's the same thing, then
Is that where the
yes.
following season is?
Over there.
It's over there somewhere.
Yeah.
Following season.
So you give Klopp 18 months
Yes.
to save
Have
his,
they
his career?
improved under him?
Listen, I mean, how many times have I
Have
said
they
that?
improved under him?
Going
I
forward,
would like to be,
yes.
tell you what,
No
I would
question.
like to be sat next to you in the flight back.
Defensively, no.
Could be, you'd be asking, what are the questions you'd be asking?
Yep, he's dropping some grenades over there, definitely.
To be fair, you have
I
asked
was listening to your answer. but
Business
you got
class,
into-
obviously.
But he's had some issues with business class.
Well, people keep getting up and getting off the plane when he gets on.
Oh dear. I mean, you have
I
to
don't
get
know
your own
why.
bed out with Virgin.
Oh, wow.
Right, we can't say names.
Well, he already has. Do you think there is
Wasn't
too
me,
much
I didn't
hype on Dele Alli?
Oh, how's it?
I think he's a good player. I don't think he's a great player yet. I think he's a better midfield player than he is centre forward, because Tottenham played him as a second centre forward recently. But I think I don't think he's great in tight areas, but his best attribute is making runs from deep beyond the front.
So how
post.
good is he?
I think he'll be an England international for quite some while, but he's not going to be a world-class player.
But that's a skill in its own, isn't it? You don't have to be good
Yeah.
at it. Being able to
Pick the right timing, right?
play away from the ball and time your runs.
As you did for Scotland against, what was it, in the World Cup? What was the game you
That
scored?
wasn't
No,
against
that was
Brazil.
That another question.
That was basketball?
That was
yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
that another question.
Yeah.
To answer your question, it was Norway.
Norway, that was it. Timing of the run.
It was my pace.
What did Trevor Bayliss say about him?
Trevor Bailey.
He said-
Trevor Bailey.
Devastating.
Devastating.
He said,
Most destructive.
he says,
That leaves it quite open, that, isn't it?
he said, devastating everything I see in the lineup.
Could be.
Devastated.
How about
Devastated.
Ancelotti to Arsenal in the summer? Wenger needs to have an epiphany first, of course.
No.
Ancelotti, no, I think somebody needs to go in at Arsenal that's going to...
Kick the
Yeah,
backside.
exactly. And
Simeone?
Be a better coach.
Trevor
Simeone will
Bayliss.
do a good job.
Trevor Bayliss.
Or whatever his name is.
Trevor Bailey. He died about 20 years ago. But anyway, you can't take the mickey out.
Tell you what.
Ancelotti
you're
wouldn't be the right
so,
fit.
yeah.
Not the right fit for Arsenal.
That's it?
Who's not? Trevor or Calvin?
Carlo.
Casey, you're going to Orlando
I am.
tomorrow. Have a nice
Yes.
trip. Robert, you're going to be here tomorrow?
Yes, I am.
Your last day?
I'll ask a
What's
few more
happening in
questions.
Orlando? What's happening?
ESPN
a
FC
game?
returns tomorrow as we'll be looking ahead to US against Panama. You can join us 6 p.m. Eastern on ESPN News.